Your Aries sister just announced she's quitting her six-figure job to start a pottery business she learned about yesterday on YouTube. Your Aries uncle walked out of Christmas dinner because someone criticized his political opinion. Your Aries friend blocked their entire extended family on social media over a single disagreement about vacation plans. If these scenarios sound disturbingly familiar, you're witnessing the raw power of Mars-ruled energy in its most authentic form. Behind every shocking Aries decision lies a complex psychological framework that operates on principles completely foreign to the rest of the zodiac. While other signs calculate, deliberate, and seek consensus, Aries individuals function from a place of pure, instinctual truth that often appears reckless or impulsive to outside observers. But here's what most families don't understand about their Aries relatives. These aren't random acts of rebellion or attention-seeking behavior. These are carefully calibrated responses to a world that moves too slowly for their internal combustion engine. The Aries mind processes information through a filter of immediate authenticity when they encounter a situation that doesn't align with their core values or personal vision. Their internal alarm system activates with the intensity of a fire department responding to a 5-alarm emergency. What looks like an overreaction to family members is actually a precisely calculated response designed to preserve their psychological integrity. They would rather endure the social consequences of dramatic action than suffer the internal torture of compromising their authentic self. This fundamental difference in operating systems creates a fascinating dynamic in family structures. While parents, siblings, and relatives operate from places of security, tradition, and gradual change, the Aries family member functions as a catalyst for transformation and truth-telling. They're the ones who will call out dysfunctional family patterns that everyone else politely ignores. They're the ones who will challenge outdated traditions that no longer serve anyone's highest good. They're the ones who will sacrifice family harmony in service of honest communication. The confessions we're about to explore today aren't meant to excuse difficult Aries behavior or justify the chaos they sometimes create in family dynamics. Instead, these revelations provide a roadmap for understanding the internal logic that drives their external actions. Each confession represents a window into the Aries psyche that explains why they make choices that leave family members speechless, confused, or occasionally inspired by their courage. What makes these confessions particularly shocking isn't their content alone. It's the casual honesty with which Aries individuals acknowledge these aspects of their personality. They don't see their rapid decision-making, competitive nature, or relationship patterns as character flaws requiring correction. To them, these are simply the natural expressions of a spirit designed for leadership, innovation, and authentic living. Understanding these 12 confessions will revolutionize how you interpret Aries behavior in your own family. Instead of viewing their actions as random or problematic, you'll begin to recognize the consistent internal logic that governs their choices. Make sure to subscribe to Secret of the Zodiac and hit that like button because these insights will provide the missing pieces to understanding the Aries puzzle in your life. Now that we've established the framework for understanding Aries psychology, let's dive into the specific confessions that reveal exactly how their minds operate. The first 3 confessions focus on something that consistently amazes and terrifies family members: their supernatural ability to make life-altering decisions with lightning speed. The first reason: I've made life-changing decisions in under 5 minutes that everyone thought I'd regret forever, but they turned out perfect. This confession strikes at the heart of what makes Aries individuals simultaneously fascinating and terrifying to their family members. While most people agonize over major life choices for weeks or months, consulting friends, making pro and con lists, and researching every possible outcome, Aries operates on what can only be described as cosmic download speed. They receive information, process it through their internal guidance system, and emerge with unshakable certainty about their path forward, all while their family members are still trying to understand the basic facts of the situation. Consider the Aries who decided to move across the country after a single phone conversation with a potential employer. Their family spent weeks trying to talk sense into them, pointing out all the logical reasons why such a hasty decision was financial suicide. 6 months later, that same Aries had tripled their income and found their soulmate in the new city. Or the Aries college student who switched majors 3 times in one semester, each time causing family panic about wasted tuition and delayed graduation, only to land their dream internship precisely because of their diverse academic background. The psychological mechanism behind this phenomenon relates to Aries' direct connection to their intuitive faculties. While other signs filter potential decisions through layers of social conditioning, fear-based programming, and external validation needs, Aries cuts straight through to their core truths. They don't second-guess their initial instincts because they've learned through experience that their first impulse usually contains more accurate information than hours of rational analysis. This creates a fascinating paradox in family dynamics. Family members witness what appears to be reckless impulsivity, but the outcomes consistently validate the Aries approach. Over time, this pattern establishes the Aries family member as someone whose judgment, however unconventional, tends to be mysteriously accurate. Yet despite mounting evidence of their decision-making prowess, families continue to panic each time their Aries relative announces another lightning-speed life change. What family members don't realize is that Aries decisions aren't actually impulsive. They're immediate. The difference is crucial. Impulsive decisions stem from emotional reactivity and lack of consideration. Immediate decisions stem from instant clarity and complete confidence in one's internal compass. The Aries has already unconsciously processed all the relevant variables and arrived at their conclusion before their conscious mind even registers they're facing a choice. The second reason, when someone tells me, "You can't do that," it immediately becomes my #1 priority to prove them catastrophically wrong. This confession reveals the rocket fuel that powers Aries' achievement throughout their entire lives. The phrase, "you can't," functions like a direct challenge to their core identity as a pioneer and trailblazer. What other people intend as helpful reality checking or protective discouragement, Aries interprets as a gauntlet thrown down in the arena of possibility. Their competitive fire ignites instantly, and suddenly what started as casual conversation becomes a personal mission with the intensity of a military operation. Family members often discover this mechanism accidentally and then watch in amazement as their previously unmotivated Aries relative transforms into an unstoppable force of nature. The Aries teenager who couldn't be bothered to clean their room suddenly becomes obsessed with academic excellence when a teacher suggests they're not college material. The Aries adult who showed no interest in cooking becomes a gourmet chef after their mother-in-law comments that they'll never learn to feed their family properly. This reverse psychology effect operates on multiple levels simultaneously. On the surface, it's about proving doubters wrong and establishing dominance in the face of challenge. But deeper psychological currents are also at play. Aries individuals are hardwired to be first, the first to try, the first to succeed, the first to break new ground. When someone suggests limitations on their capabilities, it contradicts their fundamental cosmic programming. Their response isn't just about winning an argument, it's about defending their essential nature as beings designed to transcend boundaries. The intensity of this reaction often shocks family members who were simply trying to offer realistic guidance or protect their Aries loved one from potential disappointment. A casual comment about the difficulty of starting a business can launch the Aries into months of obsessive planning and execution. A suggestion that a particular goal might be unrealistic can become the driving force behind years of dedicated pursuit. What makes this confession particularly revealing is the word catastrophically. Aries doesn't just want to prove people wrong, they want to succeed so dramatically that the original doubt becomes obviously ridiculous. They're not satisfied with meeting expectations or achieving moderate success. They want their accomplishments to serve as permanent monuments to the folly of underestimating Aries' determination. This dynamic creates complex relationships with family members who learn to carefully moderate their language around sensitive topics. Parents discover they need to frame concerns as strategic questions rather than limitations. Siblings learn to express doubt indirectly if they actually want to discourage an Aries plan. Partners develop sophisticated communication skills to provide input without triggering the competitive override system. The third reason, I judge people's worth by how quickly they make decisions. Slow thinkers genuinely irritate my soul. This final confession in our first set exposes perhaps the most socially challenging aspect of Aries psychology, their impatience with what they perceive as mental sluggishness. To understand the depth of this irritation, imagine someone who processes information at broadband speed, being forced to communicate through dial-up connections. The Aries sits in family meetings, restaurant discussions, and vacation planning sessions, watching other people methodically work through decision trees that the Aries resolved in the first 30 seconds. The word soul in this confession is particularly significant. This isn't just intellectual frustration or social annoyance, it's a spiritual level discomfort with energy patterns that move too slowly for their internal rhythm. Aries operates on Mars time, where action and reaction happen in real-time synchronization. When forced to accommodate slower processing speeds, they experience something akin to physical restlessness combined with mental claustrophobia. Family members often interpret this impatience as arrogance or disrespect, but the truth is more complex. Aries genuinely doesn't understand why other people need extensive deliberation to reach conclusions that seem obvious. From their perspective, prolonged indecision suggests either lack of clarity about one's values or excessive concern about others' opinions, both of which are foreign concepts to the Aries operating system. This creates ongoing tension in family decision-making scenarios. The Aries wants to book the vacation rental that clearly meets all the stated criteria, while other family members want to compare 17 more options and read 43 additional reviews. The Aries is ready to choose the restaurant based on cuisine preference and location, while others debate atmosphere, price points, and dietary accommodations for extended periods. The judgment aspect of this confession extends beyond simple impatience. Aries associates quick decision-making with personal power, clarity of purpose, and authentic self-knowledge. In their worldview, people who know themselves well and trust their judgment can make decisions efficiently. Therefore, chronic indecisiveness suggests fundamental disconnection from one's inner guidance system. This psychological framework explains why Aries individuals often gravitate toward leadership roles and entrepreneurial ventures. They naturally attract followers who appreciate having someone else make the difficult choices quickly and confidently. In family contexts, this often positions the Aries as the informal decision maker for group activities, travel plans, and crisis responses. However, this same quality can create relationship challenges when family members feel rushed, unheard, or bulldozed by Aries efficiency. The Aries experiences genuine confusion when others request more time for consideration or want to process decisions collectively. To them, good decisions are self-evident, and delays only create opportunities for second-guessing and anxiety. Understanding these three foundational confessions provides crucial insight into how Aries minds operate in family systems. Their lightning-speed decision-making, competitive response to doubt, and impatience with slower processors aren't character flaws requiring correction. They're core features of a consciousness designed for rapid action and authentic expression. As we continue exploring these confessions, the pattern of Aries psychology becomes even more fascinating and complex. The fourth reason, I secretly plan to outshine every single person in our family gatherings without them even knowing it. This confession unveils the sophisticated strategic mind operating beneath the Aries exterior during seemingly casual family interactions. What appears to others as natural charisma and spontaneous excellence is actually the result of careful psychological preparation and competitive positioning. The Aries arrives at family birthday parties, holiday dinners, and reunion gatherings with an unconscious game plan designed to establish their dominance across multiple social dimensions. The planning process begins weeks before the actual event. The Aries mentally catalogs who will be present, what topics might arise, and which family members traditionally command attention or respect. They select their outfit not just for aesthetic appeal, but for psychological impact, choosing colors that enhance their natural magnetism and styles that communicate confidence without appearing try-hard. They prepare anecdotes from their recent achievements, practice delivery of humorous observations, and mentally rehearse responses to predictable family inquiries about their life progress. What makes this behavior particularly fascinating is the unconscious nature of much of this preparation. The Aries doesn't sit down with a notebook titled, "How to Dominate Thanksgiving Dinner." Instead, these calculations happen automatically as part of their natural social programming. They're not consciously scheming against beloved family members. They're simply ensuring they represent their best possible version of themselves in the family hierarchy. The execution during actual gatherings demonstrates masterful social intelligence. The Aries times their arrival to maximize impact, not so early as to seem eager, not so late as to miss key social positioning opportunities. They distribute attention strategically, engaging with family elders to establish respect, connecting with peers to demonstrate relatability, and charming younger relatives to build loyalty. They share accomplishments through seemingly humble storytelling that nonetheless highlights their unique achievements. The secrecy aspect of this confession reveals important insight into Aries psychology. They understand that overt competition would damage family relationships and diminish their natural appeal. Their effectiveness depends on others perceiving their excellence as effortless rather than calculated. Family members should believe they're witnessing authentic Aries brilliance, not strategic performance designed to establish social supremacy. This dynamic creates complex emotional undercurrents in family systems. Other relatives may sense something happening without being able to identify the specific mechanism. They notice that conversations somehow center around the Aries family member, that stories gravitate toward topics where the Aries excels, and that group energy seems to orbit around Aries contributions. Yet because the positioning happens subtly, calling attention to it would seem petty or paranoid. The psychological satisfaction the Aries derives from successful family outshining goes beyond simple ego gratification. For them, family gatherings represent opportunities to practice leadership skills, test their social influence, and confirm their position as the family member others look to for inspiration and excitement. These events become laboratories for refining their natural ability to command attention and respect in group settings. The fifth reason: I deliberately start arguments just to feel the adrenaline rush of winning them. This confession exposes one of the most challenging aspects of Aries family dynamics: their need for intellectual combat as a form of entertainment and stimulation. What family members interpret as unnecessary conflict creation or social disruption is actually the Aries seeking the mental and emotional high that comes from engaging in competitive discourse. They don't start arguments because they're angry or disagreeable. They initiate debates because victory in intellectual warfare provides a specific type of energetic satisfaction that peaceful conversation cannot match. The deliberate nature of this behavior distinguishes it from reactionary arguing or defensive responses. The Aries scans family conversations for potential points of contention, then strategically introduces controversial topics or takes opposing positions specifically to generate the friction necessary for argumentative engagement. They might challenge uncle's political opinions, not because they feel passionate about the issues, but because they recognize an opportunity for stimulating verbal sparring. The adrenaline component reveals the physiological dimension of this behavior. Aries individuals are ruled by Mars, the planet of war and competition, which means their nervous systems are designed to thrive under pressure and conflict. Peaceful family gatherings, while pleasant for other zodiac signs, can feel energetically flat to the Aries system. They require periodic doses of competitive intensity to feel fully alive and engaged. This creates a paradoxical situation where the Aries simultaneously loves their family deeply while occasionally making family interactions more tense than necessary. They don't want to hurt anyone's feelings or create lasting divisions, but they also can't resist the magnetic pull of a good intellectual fight. The winning aspect is crucial They're not interested in arguments they might lose or discussions that end in stalemates. They specifically seek confrontations where their superior argumentation skills can achieve clear victory. The family impact of this pattern varies depending on other members' personalities and conflict tolerance. Some relatives learn to recognize the signs of impending Aries argument initiation and either engage playfully or redirect the conversation diplomatically. Others become defensive or upset, not understanding that the Aries means no personal harm and often respects them more after a good debate than before. What's particularly revealing about this confession is the casual acknowledgement of manipulation involved. The Aries admits to deliberately creating scenarios designed to produce specific outcomes for their own satisfaction. This demonstrates their sophisticated understanding of group dynamics and their willingness to prioritize their energetic needs over conventional social harmony. The aftermath of successful Aries argumentation often puzzles family members. Once the Aries has achieved victory and experienced the desired adrenaline rush, they typically return to normal interaction patterns as if nothing significant occurred. They don't hold grudges against their debate opponents or feel ongoing animosity. For them, the argument was a game with clear rules and objectives. Once completed, normal relationships resume. The sixth reason: I feel physically uncomfortable when I'm not leading something or being the center of action. This final confession in our competitive trilogy reveals the deepest psychological drive underlying much of Aries' social behavior. The use of physically uncomfortable indicates that leadership isn't merely a preference or ego desire for Aries. It's a biological imperative wired into their nervous system. When relegated to follower positions or peripheral roles, they experience genuine somatic distress similar to claustrophobia or sensory overload. The discomfort manifests in various ways during family interactions. The Aries might become restless during long conversations where others direct the flow, unconsciously shifting their position or fidgeting with objects. They may interrupt more frequently, not out of rudeness but from internal pressure, to contribute meaningfully to group direction. Their attention may visibly drift when forced to listen passively for extended periods, as their system seeks opportunities for active engagement. This biological drive toward leadership creates fascinating family dynamics during decision-making processes. The Aries often volunteers to coordinate group activities not from altruistic service motivation, but from genuine need to occupy the control position. They experience relief and energy when placed in charge of vacation planning, holiday logistics, or crisis management because these roles align with their natural operating requirements. The center of action component extends beyond formal leadership into general social positioning. The Aries needs to feel that their presence matters significantly to group energy and outcomes. They're not satisfied being one of many contributors. They require sensing that their specific input influences group direction in meaningful ways. This doesn't necessarily mean they need constant attention, but they do need to feel their participation creates noticeable impact. Family members often misinterpret this behavior as ego-driven or attention-seeking, but the reality involves deeper psychological architecture. The Aries isn't trying to diminish others or prove superiority. They're responding to internal programming that equates peripheral participation with existential discomfort. Their natural element is fire, which requires fuel and oxygen to maintain itself. Similarly, Aries consciousness requires leadership opportunities and central engagement to sustain optimal functioning. This dynamic can create tension when multiple family members have strong personalities or when established family hierarchies conflict with Aries leadership needs. Holiday gatherings become particularly challenging when traditional authority figures expect deference, while the Aries system craves active direction opportunities. Successful family navigation often requires creative solutions that provide the Aries with meaningful leadership roles without undermining existing family structures. The confession's honesty about physical discomfort demonstrates remarkable self-awareness. Many people experience similar drives without recognizing or acknowledging them. The Aries' willingness to admit this need represents both emotional intelligence and strategic thinking. They understand their requirements clearly enough to advocate for positions that support their optimal functioning. Understanding these three competitive confessions illuminates why Aries family members sometimes seem simultaneously wonderful and exhausting. Their drive to excel, create stimulating conflict, and occupy leadership positions stems from authentic psychological needs rather than character defects or social insensitivity. Families who recognize these patterns can create environments that satisfy Aries requirements while maintaining harmony for other members. The seventh reason: I've ended friendships instantly over a single disrespectful comment and never looked back once. This confession reveals the razor-sharp boundary enforcement system that governs Aries relationships with surgical precision. While other zodiac signs might tolerate gradual erosion of respect through passive-aggressive comments, subtle undermining, or occasional disrespectful treatment, Aries operates with zero-tolerance policies that would make corporate security departments seem lenient by comparison. A single comment that crosses their respect threshold triggers immediate relationship termination protocols with the efficiency of a professional security breach response. The instant nature of this decision-making process often shocks both the offending party and mutual friends who witness the aftermath. One moment there's a functioning friendship with shared history, inside jokes, and regular communication. The next moment there's complete radio silence and deleted contact information. The offender typically doesn't receive warnings, second chances, or opportunities for explanation. From the Aries perspective, disrespect reveals fundamental character information that renders further relationship investment pointless. This behavior stems from the Aries understanding that respect forms the foundational currency of all meaningful relationships. They don't view respect as something that can be temporarily withdrawn and then restored through apology or behavioral modification. To them, genuine respect either exists as a constant or it never existed authentically in the first place. A disrespectful comment doesn't damage respect. It reveals that respect was absent from the beginning, masked by social politeness or strategic relationship maintenance. The never look back component demonstrates the completeness of Aries' emotional processing. Once they've categorized someone as disrespectful, that person moves into permanent exile status with no possibility of rehabilitation or renewed consideration. This isn't driven by vindictiveness or ongoing anger, but by logical conclusion that someone willing to disrespect them once will inevitably do so again. They prefer to invest their relationship energy in people who demonstrate consistent respect from the beginning. Family members often struggle to understand this pattern because it seems disproportionate to the triggering incident. They witness the Aries cutting contact with longtime friends over comments that might seem relatively minor or potentially misunderstood. What they don't recognize is that the Aries has been unconsciously collecting data points about that person's character for months or years. The final disrespectful comment doesn't create the problem. It simply provides definitive confirmation of patterns the Aries had already been noticing. This instant termination policy creates fascinating ripple effects in social circles. Friends learn to monitor their language carefully around Aries individuals, understanding that casual insults or thoughtless comments carry permanent relationship consequences. Some people find this standard exhausting and choose to maintain distance rather than risk accidental offense. Others appreciate the clarity of expectations and find Aries relationships refreshingly honest and drama-free. The psychological mechanism underlying this behavior relates to Aries' relationship with personal power and self-worth. They understand instinctively that tolerating disrespect teaches people that disrespectful treatment is acceptable, rather than engage in the exhausting process of training people to treat them properly. They simply remove disrespectful individuals from their social ecosystem. This creates natural selection pressure that results in Aries relationships being populated by people who offer genuine respect and consideration. The eighth reason: I've pretended to listen to family advice while already having done the exact opposite 3 hours earlier. This confession exposes the sophisticated diplomatic skills Aries individuals deploy to maintain family harmony while preserving their autonomy. The timing detail, 3 hours earlier, reveals that Aries doesn't reject family input out of stubborn reactivity, but rather acts on their own judgment first, and then politely endures well-meaning advice about decisions they've already implemented. This represents a masterclass in managing family relationships without sacrificing personal independence. The pretending aspect demonstrates remarkable emotional intelligence and family loyalty simultaneously. The Aries could easily announce their predetermined decision and shut down family discussion, but they recognize that relatives need to feel heard and valued in family decision-making processes. By listening respectfully to advice they have no intention of following, they honor family members' need to contribute while maintaining complete control over their actual choices. This behavior pattern typically develops over years of family interactions, where the Aries learned that announcing decisions beforehand creates unnecessary drama, resistance, and emotional labor. Family members want to feel consulted about major life choices, even when their advice conflicts with what the Aries knows they need to do. Rather than engage in exhausting battles over autonomy, the Aries perfects the art of gracious advice reception, followed by predetermined action execution. The 3-hour timeline suggests careful strategic planning. The Aries doesn't act impulsively and then scramble to manage family reactions. They make their decision, implement it immediately, and then schedule family consultation conversations, knowing the outcome is already secured. This allows them to participate in family advice sessions with genuine calm and openness, since nothing family members say can actually influence the situation anymore. What makes this confession particularly revealing is the casual acknowledgement of deception involved. The Aries doesn't feel guilty about this strategy because they understand the difference between seeking advice and managing relationships. They're not asking family members for decision-making input. They're providing relatives with opportunities to express care and concern while maintaining final authority over their own life choices. This dynamic creates complex emotional undercurrents in family systems, where relatives sense something artificial about advice, conversations without being able to identify specific problems. The Aries listens attentively, asks appropriate questions, and responds thoughtfully to suggestions. Yet family members may feel that their input doesn't carry real weight. This intuition is completely accurate, but the Aries considers this a feature rather than a bug of their system. The psychological sophistication required for this approach demonstrates advanced relationship management skills. The Aries must convincingly simulate genuine consideration while internally remaining completely committed to their chosen path. They must ask relevant questions about alternatives they've already rejected and express appropriate gratitude for suggestions they'll never implement. This requires significant emotional regulation and performance ability. The 9th reason: I've cut toxic family members out of my life permanently without a single goodbye explanation. This final confession in our relationship trilogy represents perhaps the most shocking Aries capability from conventional family perspective: their willingness to terminate blood relationships with the same efficiency they apply to friendship management. The permanent nature combined with the absence of explanation creates a relationship termination so clean and absolute that affected family members often spend years trying to understand what happened and whether reconciliation remains possible. The toxicity threshold for family differs significantly from friendship standards due to Aries' recognition that family relationships involve obligations and loyalties absent from chosen relationships. They don't expect family members to meet the same respect standards they require from friends, understanding that family dynamics involve complex histories, personality conflicts, and inherited behavioral patterns. However, once family behavior crosses into genuinely toxic territory, emotional abuse, manipulation, betrayal, or deliberate harm, the Aries response becomes swift and absolute. The absence of goodbye explanations serves multiple strategic purposes. First, it prevents toxic family members from engaging in manipulative counter-arguments designed to restore access. Second, it avoids creating opportunities for other family members to pressure the Aries into reconciliation through guilt or obligation. Third, It eliminates the emotional labor of justifying decisions to people who wouldn't understand or respect the boundaries being established. This behavior often creates significant family system disruption because other relatives expect gradual relationship deterioration, dramatic confrontations, or at least explanatory conversations before complete contact termination. The Aries' preference for quiet disappearance rather than confrontational announcement catches families off guard and leaves everyone scrambling to understand new relationship dynamics. The permanence aspect demonstrates the completeness of Aries' emotional processing when family relationships reach toxicity thresholds. Unlike romantic relationships that might involve multiple breakup and reconciliation cycles, or friendships that could potentially be restored after cooling off periods, toxic family relationships receive immediate and irreversible termination status. The Aries understands that family toxicity rarely improves over time and typically escalates when tolerated. What makes this confession particularly revealing is the matter-of-fact tone, suggesting the Aries views this capability as practical relationship hygiene rather than dramatic family disruption. They don't agonize over cutting contact with toxic relatives any more than they would hesitate to remove spoiled food from their refrigerator. From their perspective, maintaining toxic family relationships contaminates their entire emotional environment and interferes with their ability to build healthy connections elsewhere. The ripple effects of this behavior extend throughout entire family systems as relatives learn that blood relationships don't provide immunity from Aries boundary enforcement. This knowledge creates accountability pressure that often improves overall family functioning, as members recognize that consistently toxic behavior carries real consequences. Some family members appreciate having someone willing to establish firm boundaries with problematic relatives, while others feel unsettled by the implication that family loyalty has limits. The psychology behind this capability relates to Aries' fundamental commitment to authentic living over social obligation. They refuse to participate in family systems that require them to tolerate abuse, manipulation, or emotional harm for the sake of maintaining appearances or honoring traditional expectations. Their willingness to sacrifice family approval and belonging demonstrates the priority they place on psychological health and personal integrity. Understanding these relationship confessions illuminates why Aries family members sometimes seem simultaneously loyal and unpredictable in their connection patterns. Their commitment to respect, autonomy, and emotional health creates relationship standards that protect them from harmful dynamics, while occasionally shocking relatives who operate from different value systems. The 10th reason: I've walked away from guaranteed opportunities because someone tried to control how I should handle them. This confession unveils perhaps the most economically baffling aspect of Aries psychology: their willingness to sacrifice material success and security when the terms of achievement compromise their autonomy. While other zodiac signs might grudgingly accept micromanagement or external control in exchange for career advancement, financial gain, or social status, Aries operates from a value system that ranks personal freedom above all conventional measures of success. The guaranteed nature of these opportunities makes the decision even more shocking to family members who witness apparently self-destructive behavior. These aren't risky ventures or uncertain prospects. These are solid, reliable paths to improvement that any rational person would embrace. The Aries walks away from job promotions when bosses demand specific methodologies, rejects lucrative contracts when clients insist on detailed oversight, and abandons profitable partnerships when collaborators attempt to dictate operational procedures. This behavior pattern emerges from the Aries understanding that success achieved through compromised autonomy isn't actually success at all. It's elaborate imprisonment disguised as achievement. They recognize instinctively that accepting controlled opportunities establishes precedents for future manipulation and creates dependency relationships that become increasingly difficult to escape. Better to remain independent and self-determined than to prosper under someone else's terms and conditions. The family impact of this decision-making pattern creates ongoing tension around financial planning, career development, and long-term security discussions. Relatives watch the Aries repeatedly choose uncertainty over stability, independence over income, and creative control over guaranteed outcomes. Family members often interpret this as immaturity, stubbornness, or inability to accept reasonable compromise, not understanding that Aries views these choices as fundamental to their psychological well-being. What makes this confession particularly revealing is the casual acknowledgement of opportunity costs involved. The Aries isn't naive about the financial or professional consequences of their choices. They simply consider autonomy more valuable than external success metrics. They would rather struggle independently than prosper under supervision, preferring authentic self-expression to strategic career advancement. This dynamic creates fascinating negotiations in family business contexts, romantic partnerships, and collaborative ventures where Aries individuals must balance relationship obligations with autonomy requirements. Successful arrangements typically involve creative structures that provide the Aries with meaningful control while satisfying other parties' need for involvement or oversight. Failure to accommodate these requirements often results in complete Aries withdrawal from otherwise beneficial situations. The psychological mechanism underlying this behavior relates to Aries' relationship with personal power and authentic expression. They understand that external control gradually erodes internal confidence and creative capacity. Each compromise creates precedent for additional compromises until the original Aries spirit becomes so diluted that success feels hollow and meaningless. They prefer to maintain their essential nature, even if it means accepting reduced external circumstances. The 11th reason: I sabotage my own relationships when they become too predictable or peaceful for my warrior spirit. This confession exposes the most complex and self-aware aspect of Aries relationship psychology, their conscious recognition that they disrupt their own happiness when life becomes too stable. The warrior spirit reference reveals that Aries individuals require periodic conflict, challenge, and intensity to feel fully alive and engaged. When relationships settle into comfortable routines and peaceful coexistence, the Aries system begins experiencing what can only be described as spiritual claustrophobia. The sabotage mechanism manifests in various sophisticated forms that often puzzle both the Aries and their relationship partners. They might pick unnecessary fights over minor issues, create drama around previously resolved topics, or suddenly demand major life changes that destabilize established relationship patterns. These behaviors aren't driven by dissatisfaction with their partners or genuine relationship problems. They emerge from internal pressure to generate the stimulation necessary for optimal Aries functioning. What makes this confession particularly shocking to family members is the deliberate nature of the self-sabotage. This isn't accidental relationship destruction or unconscious pattern repetition. This is conscious acknowledgement that the Aries will actively disrupt their own happiness to satisfy deeper psychological requirements. They recognize the pattern, understand the consequences, and engage in the behavior anyway, because the alternative, remaining in peaceful but under-stimulating relationships, feels like emotional death. The predictability threshold varies among individual Aries, but generally relates to routine establishment, conflict absence, and reduced challenge levels. Relationships that provide consistent comfort, reliable support, and stable interaction patterns trigger the Aries' need for excitement and unpredictability. Partners who learn to manage this dynamic often develop strategies for introducing planned spontaneity, structured challenges, and controlled chaos that satisfy Aries' stimulation requirements without destabilizing the relationship foundation. The family impact of this pattern creates complex emotional dynamics as relatives witness the Aries destroying apparently functional relationships for reasons that seem irrational or ungrateful. Family members often invest significant emotional energy in supporting Aries relationships, only to watch them implode due to self-generated conflict rather than external problems. This can create frustration, confusion, and reluctance to provide relationship support in future situations. The warrior spirit component reveals the cosmic programming behind this behavior. Aries consciousness is designed for battle, conquest, and overcoming obstacles. Peaceful relationships, while emotionally satisfying on surface levels, don't provide sufficient challenge to maintain Aries' psychological health. They require periodic relationship intensity to feel that their natural capabilities are being utilized and their essential nature is being honored. Understanding this dynamic doesn't excuse destructive relationship behavior, but it provides context for developing more sustainable Aries relationship structures. Successful long-term relationships often involve partners who appreciate Aries' complexity and can participate in periodic relationship challenges without taking the behavior personally or viewing it as rejection. The 12th reason: I'd rather fail spectacularly at something impossible than succeed at something everyone expected me to achieve. This final confession encapsulates the entire Aries philosophy in one devastating admission that explains virtually every seemingly irrational choice they make throughout their lives. The spectacular failure preference reveals that Aries individuals are motivated more by the magnitude of challenge and the authenticity of effort than by conventional success outcomes. They would rather attempt something truly extraordinary and fall short than achieve something ordinary through expected methods. The impossibility factor demonstrates Aries' attraction to situations where success requires transcending current limitations, defying conventional wisdom, and operating beyond established boundaries. These challenges align with their cosmic role as pioneers and trailblazers who expand human possibility through their willingness to attempt what others consider unrealistic. The potential for failure doesn't discourage them. It enhances the appeal by ensuring that success, if achieved, represents genuine accomplishment rather than predictable outcome. The expectation-rejection component reveals Aries' relationship with external validation and social approval. They're not motivated by meeting other people's standards or fulfilling predicted potential. They're driven by expressing their authentic nature, regardless of whether others understand or appreciate their choices. Success that everyone anticipated feels hollow because it doesn't represent transcendence of limitations or demonstration of unique capability. This philosophy creates profound family tension around educational choices, career decisions, and life planning discussions. Family members often witness the Aries choosing difficult, uncertain paths over easier routes to conventional success. They reject stable career opportunities to pursue entrepreneurial ventures, abandon prestigious educational programs to follow unconventional interests, and sacrifice social approval to maintain authentic self-expression. The spectacular failure preference also relates to Aries' understanding that failure from impossible attempts teaches more valuable lessons than success from expected achievements. They recognize that pushing beyond their comfort zones and capability limits produces growth that safe choices cannot provide. Even unsuccessful attempts at extraordinary goals expand their understanding of personal potential and develop resilience that serves them in future endeavors. What makes this confession particularly revealing is the casual acknowledgement that this isn't optimal strategy for material success or social acceptance. It's simply the only approach that feels authentic to Aries' nature. They understand the practical disadvantages of their approach while remaining unable to operate any other way. Their internal compass points toward challenge and authenticity rather than security and approval. The family impact of this philosophy extends throughout entire life cycles, as relatives learn that traditional success metrics don't apply to Aries measurement systems. They celebrate different achievements, value different outcomes, and define success through entirely different frameworks. Understanding this difference helps families support Aries choices even when they seem impractical or unnecessary, difficult. These 12 confessions collectively reveal the complex psychological architecture that governs Aries' behavior in family systems. From their lightning speed decision-making to their preference for spectacular failure over expected success, every seemingly impulsive or irrational choice stems from consistent internal logic designed to preserve authenticity, maintain autonomy, and honor their essential nature as cosmic pioneers. Families who understand these patterns can support Aries' growth while protecting themselves from unnecessary confusion or frustration about behavior that follows entirely different rules than conventional social expectations. These 12 confessions have painted the most complete portrait of Aries psychology ever assembled, revealing the sophisticated internal logic that governs every seemingly impulsive decision, every shocking family moment, and every relationship pattern that leaves relatives speechless. What emerges isn't a picture of reckless behavior or social insensitivity, but rather a complex consciousness operating from entirely different principles than the rest of the Zodiac. From their lightning speed decision-making that consistently produces perfect outcomes despite family panic, to their competitive programming that transforms doubt into rocket fuel for achievement, we've seen how Aries minds process information through filters of authenticity and immediate action. Their impatience with slow thinkers isn't arrogance. It's the natural result of consciousness that operates at Mars speed, where decisions happen in real time and delays create genuine psychological discomfort. The competitive revelations expose the strategic intelligence behind seemingly effortless Aries' excellence at family gatherings, their need for argument-generated adrenaline, and their biological requirement for leadership positions. These aren't character flaws requiring correction. They are core features of beings designed to pioneer new territories and challenge existing boundaries. Understanding this transforms family frustration into appreciation for the unique energy Aries brings to every situation. Perhaps most shocking were the relationship confessions that revealed Aries' capacity for instant friendship termination over single disrespectful comments, their sophisticated deception around family advice, and their willingness to permanently exile toxic relatives without explanation. These behaviors demonstrate the razor-sharp boundaries that protect Aries' psychological health and maintain their ability to invest authentic energy in relationships that honor their essential nature. The self-sabotage confessions provided the deepest insights into Aries' internal programming, showing how they sacrifice guaranteed success to preserve autonomy, disrupt peaceful relationships to maintain stimulation, and choose spectacular failure over expected achievement. These patterns reveal consciousness designed for growth through challenge rather than comfort through security. What makes these confessions truly remarkable isn't their individual shock value, but their collective demonstration of complete internal consistency. Every Aries behavior that seems random or problematic to family members follows logical patterns designed to preserve authenticity, maintain independence, and honor their cosmic role as catalysts for change and growth in human evolution. These insights transform how families can interact with their Aries relatives, moving from confusion and frustration to understanding and appreciation. Instead of trying to change Aries behavior to fit conventional expectations, successful family relationships learn to work with Aries nature while protecting other family members from unnecessary chaos. The next time your Aries family member makes a shocking confession or announces another life-altering decision, remember these patterns and respond with curiosity rather than judgment. Their choices aren't designed to create family drama. They're expressions of consciousness programmed for authentic living at any cost. If these confessions have revolutionized your understanding of the Aries people in your life, make sure to subscribe to Secret of the Zodiac right now for more Zodiac revelations that will transform your relationships forever. Hit that like button if you recognize your Aries relatives in these confessions, and dive into our other videos to discover equally shocking truths about every Zodiac sign. Most importantly, we need your help in the comments section below. Tell us which confession surprised you the most about Aries behavior. Share your own experiences with Aries family members and how these insights will change your future interactions. Are you an Aries yourself who finally feels understood? Or are you a family member who now has the missing pieces to the Aries puzzle? Your stories and insights help build our community of Zodiac truth seekers. If this content has provided valuable insights that will improve your family relationships, please consider supporting our daily content creation through Super Thanks. These small financial contributions help cover production costs and enable us to bring you fresh Zodiac revelations every single day. Your support directly fuels our ability to dive deeper into Zodiac mysteries and share transformative insights that you won't find anywhere else. Subscribe, like, comment with your Aries stories, and help us continue uncovering the shocking truths hidden within every zodiac sign.